Hi, I'm Jason and this is Level Up Hobbies. Today I'm going to continue my contrast painting series, where I take a figure and paint it up to parade-ready standards using mainly contrast paints and highlights. Today we're going to be painting an Iron Warriors Chaos Space Marine. Enjoy! Okay, so we're going to be painting an Iron Warriors Chaos Space Marine. Again, this is going to be mainly contrast paints. To begin with, what I did is I primed it in Vallejo Black Surface Primer. Vallejo Black Surface Primer. So just got that out of the way. And next, I'm going to be giving it a very heavy highlight of Gray Sear. I don't want to cover the entire model with the Gray Sear, but I do want to kind of hit most of the exposed areas. I want the black to remain, underneath in the crevices, so I'm not going to try to really get in there with the Gray Sear. I don't want to saturate it or anything, but I do want to give an overall coverage. Okay, so the Gray Sear has dried and we are ready to start applying some color here. So the armor of an Iron Warrior Space Marine is usually like a raw metal, like a raw gunmetal. So to do this in contrast, what we're going to do is use Basilicanum Gray, and we will just work this into the armor and see how it looks. I'm going to try to go thin on this and not apply too much at a time. Next, we're going to do his left shoulder pauldron in Black Templar. We're going to start putting down a base coat on all of the trim, and that is going to be Warp Lock Bronze. So we've got all of the trim that's going to be that bronze color painted. And as you can see, it's got pretty good shine to it. So what I want to do is knock that shine off there, and just kind of bring that down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint all of that bronze with snakebite leather. And like I said, painting this over the metallic, I will still have that nice warm metallic color, but this is going to take that shine off, and it'll also settle and give me some shade. Just want to be careful that I don't get it down into the grays. And the reason I'm doing this is I want all of these metals to appear just unpolished, like dirty, grimy. Something else you could use, like for this part, would be, I mean, you could use some like technical paints like typhus corrosion or something. But this snakebite leather has a nice warm tone to it, warm feel, and it's similar in color to the metallic. It's gonna be hard to see on the camera right now, but I promise you, it's gonna look awesome. That's one thing I'm trying to do with this series, is just learn how to use these contrast paints, and not just as, you know, a base color. What are other uses for these paints? If I leave some of the parts still shiny, that's okay, because I want to go back and just kind of put in some highlights as like scratches and stuff in the metal, so it will just looks like it's been scratched through that dulled down layer to the main, some fresh metal at the bottom. Okay. Let's see if I can't zoom in better on this. It really took that glossy shade off there, a glossy tone. I think this is looking really good. I like that it's not a really highly polished metal. I mean, I probably could have done something similar with just some like Agrax Earthshade, but I like how the contrast paints will settle a little differently, and it kind of builds up some color. If you could see this right here on like the pauldron, the areas where it kind of build up like little pools of it, and that's exactly what I was looking for. And then in the higher areas, it's still got some sheen to it. Alright, cool. Let's move on to the next step, whatever that may be. All the pieces that are going to be black or leather, I'm going to go ahead and base coat in Corax White. Go through and highlight the trim, all the bronze parts, with Rune Lord Brass. And this highlight is, I'm not going to highlight every edge, I just want to go in and put like nicks and scratches, because I want that brass to look just kind of dirty. We're going to go through and highlight the armor panels, and for that I'm going to be using lead belcher. And like with the bronze pieces, I'm not doing like a direct line highlight. I'm just kind of doing scratches and dings. So it looks kind of like unfinished, unpolished metal that has just been scratched up. And so there are spots that shine through. Okay, I'm also going to paint the parts of the weapon that will be silver and paint those lead belcher. Okay, we're going to paint the casing on the gun, and for that we're going to go with Nasdrag yellow contrast paint. You can't really have an Iron Warrior without some type of hazard stripes in here, so we're going to do those on the casing of the gun. Probably have to go back in and touch up this lead belcher that I painted in here, but that's okay. Not too worried about it. Make sure you get the underside. Okay, let that dry. We're going to highlight this yellow, and for that I'm going to use Citadel Edge Paint Creed Khaki. Normally for yellows, if I'm going to use an edge paint, I'll use the Dorn yellow, but this is kind of a more of a muted, kind of sickly yellow, and I just think it will go a little better with the scheme, you know, these muted colors and stuff. So, all right, so Creed Khaki, give it a shot. And again, I don't want straight edge highlights. I just want to kind of leave little dings and stuff across it, so it's not like strictly uniform. Okay, we're going to paint on some hazard stripes across that yellow, and we're going to use some Abaddon black. And to start these stripes, I usually just try to find a point anywhere and a second point and just try to run a line between the two. As straight as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect, as long as it gets the idea across. And then you can either draw a second line or just keep expanding the one you made until you get a good width for your let that dry and give it a second coat. And then you want to kind of find equal distance away and start your second line. It can get kind of difficult to make a nice crisp line when you get in between these details, because you can't get up and make that line like really straight. So just do the best you can. Alright, and when that black dries, you can go in and just tidy up the line a little bit. Like so for this, I'd probably use some Corax white and just tidy up the line and then touch it up with a little bit of that Nazdrag yellow again. But there we go, hazard stripes. Not too bad. Okay, we're going to go in and paint some of the other metallic parts in Balthazar Gold. And what we're doing here is just breaking up some of those metallics from the lead belcher and that bronze color. So if you have too much of one color, everything just kind of washes out. And I like the Balthazar gold because it's not a real bright gold like, what do we have, like, it's not a yellow gold like this, like auric armor, or what else is there, the retributor armor. Okay, so that gold added a nice different metallic tone to the whole model. Now I need to knock that down a little bit because it is too shiny. So for that, I'm going to use some Agrax Earthshade, and we're just going to tone down the golds and this lead belcher that I painted on here. Okay, so now we are going to paint the leather portions on this guy, and for that we're using Gorgoncha fur. We're now going to go ahead and give an edge highlight and some scratches and stuff in this leather with some Rakarth flesh. Ahead and I touched up the base, the black around the base with some Abaddon black. I think this guy turned out pretty well. The Basilicanum gray over that gray sear gives a very nice, just kind of bare metal appearance. And when you go in and just highlight little dings and scratches with, you know, some type of metallic, I used lead belcher. It really looks like that bare, dirty metal is just scratched to the surface, you know. And I think for these guys, it gave me the exact effect that I wanted. I've seen a lot of them painted up highly metallic with, probably lead belcher, then highlighted, and then gold on all of their trim. But this seems more of a color scheme for the Iron Warriors, because they weren't, from books and stuff that I've read with them, they weren't a chapter that were all about like the pomp and glory. They're siege breakers. They got in there, got dirty, and this really kind of reflects more of an Iron Warrior, I think, than many paint schemes that I've seen. So thanks again for watching. This is Level Up Hobbies. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and then also hit that notification button down below so you can be notified whenever I post new videos. Thanks again.